This injustice will not be sustained. The pursuit for justice.
Hi, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and to all lovers of justice and good governance. I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel today, Discovery Africa TV. Yes, I know you're watching this video because you want justice, you want good governance, you want to know what's up, you want to know what's the next thing, you want to know what is going between all of this drama and all of this saga and all these issues between Senator Akpabio Natasha, who's actually representing Kogi Central since 2023 in the 10th Senate, and issues between her and the current Senate President Akpabio. Some people are actually demanding for justice, justice, justice. And it's no longer news that this woman has been suspended from the Senate for 6 months. And if you are suspended, you all know all the benefits and privileges you enjoy as a senator will actually be suspended alongside with you. You understand? You're not receiving your wages, you're not receiving any benefit anymore as a senator. Although even after the suspension was being announced by the Senate President, we have several senators that actually came out and begin to say several things in respect to all of this issue. But I think there's one constant thing that we need to notice in all of this thing happening. You will discover that since this issue has actually begun, and several people has been coming out, several politicians have been coming out, even this several senators has actually come out and said their own point of view in respect to this, you will discover that none of them spoke in favor of Senator Natasha. You understand? None of them actually spoke in favor of her. Even some female senators like her never spoke in favor of her. That is to tell you that all of these things happening, what is actually going on? Is it that there is something that we Nigerians need to know or understand in respect to all of this? Now, why some people is actually calling Senator Natasha lie, and because of what she said about all of the allegation, when she said that Akpabio was demanding for her to make him happy, take her to hotel, and all of that. All of these things is what you're going to watch in this particular video. And I want you to just stay connected. Just drop your own point of view in respect to all of this issue. Now, she has been suspended. And you need to know that she was actually suspended not because of the allegation and all of that, but because she didn't follow the code of conduct of the 10th Senate. She was suspended because she broke several orders, she broke several rules, and several disobedience, you understand, to the rule of the Senate, which is actually in accordance to the Nigeria Constitution. So it's not as if she was suspended because she alleged Akpabio of whatever sexual harassment he must have actually engaged towards her. It was because of all of the things that happened within the Senate. That was the reasons why she was actually suspended. Even though when Oshiomhole was to address this, Oshiomhole actually said that the Senate President should actually give Natasha the opportunity to apologize and several things. Even when the suspension was announced, we saw several senators that came out and was pleading about some things, that her security here should not be withdrawn from her and several other privileges like that. But at the end of the day, she was suspended for 6 months. You understand? So that means Kogi Central will no longer have anybody representing them for the next 6 months. And if things does not go in her favor, it's possible they may actually extend the suspension. Even though she was given the opportunity to apologize, we don't know what will happen if she's actually going to apologize or not. If Akpabio is found to be guilty or not, all we want is justice. And if, just like they've been saying, Natasha has been lying, if it is a lie or not, all we want is justice for her and justice for the Senate President. The man that Seun Okibalo actually interviewed was the assistant to the Senate President. So probably if he's defending his boss or not, or speaking the truth, we never can tell. So let me leave you to the rest of the video to watch. This is Discovery Africa TV. Once again, justice, 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 justice. This is Discovery Africa TV. Peace.
You've heard the legal angle on this matter. Let's bring in the special advisor to and a consultant to the Senate President on Communications and Strategy, Sir Ken Okolubo, is live for us here in Abuja. So thank you so much, Ken, for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Sheil. It's been ages.
It's been ages, actually.
I know.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to see you again.
And you've crossed a lot of waters.
I know.
From being in the PDP, was it Labour Party?
Was it Labour? Was
Accord Party?
That's where I contested.
Now you're working with Godswill Akpabio.
Yes, 100%.
Interestingly, you are torn in between two families. You're a good friend.
I'm torn between two families. The interesting thing was that Emmanuel Udua actually recommended me for this job. And so you can imagine I'm the image maker of the Senate president, and Emmanuel Udua is the husband to Senator Natasha Akpoti Udua.
Were you there on the day that Senator Natasha was talking about, where she accused the Senate president of muting the idea of returning her to the home to have a nice time, according to her?
Oh, I didn't go to Akpabio. For some reason, I had to stay back. You know, it was December, so I had to stay back with my family. That is why I didn't make that party. There were some reasons I had to stay back with my, I have a young family, so I had to stay back with my family. I wasn't there. But the interesting thing about it is all these wouldn't have happened. Like I told my friend, I clearly told him I disagreed with his wife. You saw my statement in Punch. I thought she lied about the incident, and I felt it was right to put things in the right perspective. And one thing is for sure, when you can't support the facts, when the facts don't support what you have presented, it becomes very impossible for you to hold on to those facts. Why do I say this? Because of the relationship that Akpabio, my boss, the Senate president, had with Emmanuel Orishe-Jolomi Odua. His wife was made the chairman of the Senate Committee on Local Content 2 weeks after she came into the Senate on the 21st of November 2023. And so if she has alleged that on the 8th of December 2023, what's happened had happened, and he was telling her that there were a lot of privileges to enjoy. What privileges can be more than the fact that we have about 73 or 76 chairman of committees? And she had become a chairman of committee already prior to the 8th of December, which interestingly, they both have the same birthdays on the 9th of December. And so, the family is intertwined, so I don't want to go into those family issues.
And things are
but
really
I'm looking at the
things
facts,
are really broken
and that is
down
why we should actually look for how we can mend fences at this point.
Just for a moment.
At this point in time.
Let's get to the facts of the matter. There are senators who are saying the crux of the matter was the removal of Senator Akpoti Uduaghan as the chair of the Senate Committee on Local Content.
That's why I said
Is that right?
That was what I said in Punch. I didn't put water in my mouth when I said it. And Lina Ikeji, I didn't tell Lina Ikeji to blow it up, but she blew it up. I was very emphatic about this. Why do I say this? Let me put the question straight. If Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan was still the chairman of Local Content, would she have made this allegation? Even if her seat was changed.
Does it take away the fact that she has a genuine grievance of sexual abuse or sexual harassment, allegations of sexual harassment?
Why I don't believe that happened was the fact that I have a trajectory, and I just gave you the fact that she was already committee chairman.
You don't believe, but you do not know whether it happened.
I wasn't there.
Because it's a word of the
That is why I said
against the Senate president.
I don't believe. But if you look at it, on Weibo's account, who was an eyewitness, he was in your studio for the Sunrise Daily program. You're already a lawyer. There's something called an eyewitness report. He gave his eyewitness account and said not only did he come in the same car with both Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan and Chief Emmanuel Udua, he also left in the same car with them. And that report it's what you call in law. That report is beyond reasonable doubt, because he was able to account for all the time that they were together. And I also believe that some evidences beyond that. But you see, the window of opportunity that the SP gave today, if you look at on your reports, when you saw he put the prayer 2, a lot of people are unhappy with him. The prayer 2 did not succeed in a lot of people's interpretation. That's giving her the window of opportunity to be able to apologize. But the SP, maybe his magnanimity, said the eyes have it. And that gives her the window of opportunity to apologize. To be able to apologize. And you see, I don't even like what the senior advocate of Nigeria was doing here.
She's the aggrieved party here.
What was the grievance? That her seat was moved? But she's sitting on that chair now.
No, but the big question here is that it's because of sexual harassment.
The fact of the matter was her seat was moved, and there was already bottled up anger because she was removed from the local content committee. We have to be realistic. Now, if she didn't go to Brekete and she didn't go to Arise, all this could have been sorted out. She would have, the same way Senator Godswill Akpabio apologized when his seat, he couldn't hear his microphone, and you showed the video. That's all she needed to do. Apologize for the unruly conduct for that day.
It doesn't it look
And
to
it
you,
would have
Ken,
been sorted out. But by the time she went to Brekete and she went to Arise,
Doesn't it- Ken,
I mean,
doesn't
must
it-
be realistic. I like to face
doesn't it
facts.
look to you that
I'm happy that the husband is my good friend.
Doesn't it look to you, Ken, that she's got a lot of bottled up emotion?
That's exactly what happened.
Just a moment about emotional harassment allegation that she's claimed.
No, that's not right. The bottled up emotion comes to the fact that she was removed from that committee to diaspora and she wasn't happy about it.
Could that be true?
That's the fact.
That is the insinuation from your side.
That's not from my side. That's the fact.
No, I'm saying from the
Senator
side of the-
Weboy, who is the deputy chief whip and a leader of the house, clearly said the same thing I told Punch. You know why I said that to Punch was I wanted to hold on to one line. I didn't want a situation whereby, my boss will definitely not come and tell you this. Do you understand where I'm coming from? But you see, I have been tested in this whole drama. I am his image maker. I'm his consultant on communication and strategy. The husband recommended me for this position. And at the same time, the test is coming from that side. I always have my integrity. When I served Dr. Emmanuel Odua as commissioner, I was faithful even till today. Interestingly, when it was his 70th birthday, I was the only commissioner that gave him a full page. So just last year.
Were you torn between loyalty and
friendship?
That's what you're torn?
Yes. And I had to start for loyalty.
So what did you tell the Alema of Warri?
I told Alema of Warri that we could settle this issue. And I still insist that we could settle this issue. Because you see, why I think we can settle this issue?
So
the fact that the second prayer passed is the only window of opportunity I can tell that this issue can be settled. There shouldn't be any pride. The SAN came here and there is no injunction. What's happened is that there's a court, there's a process, there's a court order. But the court order says that the Senate should come and show reason why an injunction should not be granted. They didn't say they had restrained. You see, the judge was very careful. And when the legislative process has started, you can't stop it now. It's a settled authority. It's only when it has not started you can put a stop to it.
How do you explain this? There are those who are out there who are saying, this is not the first time that Godswill Akpabio, we're having this kind of allegations against him. You heard from the former MD of the NDDC.
I have spoken to him about it. I wasn't working with him then. And he has his very deep regrets. His deep regrets was that he didn't pursue that matter to a logical conclusion. And he intends to pursue it now to a logical conclusion. You see, one of the mistakes that Trump made was that he didn't deal with the issue of Stormy Daniels. And that's why he's a convict today, even though he's the president of America. And so his deep regret was that he didn't deal with that issue. And that issue will be dealt with. You see, when you decide to say, let's forgive and forget and you move on, then things like this will come back to haunt you. Are you understanding? And so he wants to deal with that issue once and for all.
It's a case of Akpa versus Akpo. Akpabio versus Akpoti.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I disagree with that.
No. As in, there is a popular joke on social media. That is a
you know what has happened? You see, a lot of people are driving traffic because they're making money from it. YouTube is paying them, Twitter is paying them, Instagram is paying them, and so they're finding solace in it. But you see, away from the social media, we need to face reality. The reality of it all is, all Senator Natasha Akpabio needs to do is to apologize. A written apology. She's been given that window. Anybody that is deceiving her to the contrary is just ruining her political career.
If you take this away from this particular instance and draw an inference to what has happened before, the kind of the manner in which the Senate President has spoken to this woman on the floor before, don't you think there is a historical way of disrespect to the senator?
If you remember, I was on a rise after that incident. I was the only one that spoke about it. And very honest about that incident. When he said it was a nightclub, he meant it was not a place to make noise. He didn't mean to disrespect her, in all honesty. But people found
what he meant and what he said are two different
things.
So did you hear what he said?
Okay, did you hear what Senator Shomole said today? He said he was on your program. And even though he was convinced, but that his conviction was not enough, he had to apologize because people found it offensive. And that's exactly the same scenario that Senator Godswill Akpabio was caught with. What he meant was, like he rightly said, was not what it was interpreted. And he was a statesman. And I was one of those that advised him that, look, this is your friend's wife, and it would only make sense for you to apologize on the floor of the Senate so that people would not misconstrue that you're referring to your friend's wife as a club girl. And that's exactly what he was not doing. He was, I'd rather say that the nightclub was a place you shouldn't make noise. If he had said the marketplace, they would have said he was calling her a market woman. You see, let me tell you, one thing about my boss I've realized is that he has that tendency of joking. In fact, one day, off the cuff, I was telling him that maybe boss should have made a lot of money being a comedian. He said, Ken, maybe you're right. Don't get me wrong. Do you get? And people take that for granted and do not understand that when he makes such statements, not about the nightclub, but generally, maybe he just wants to tour the moment. He just wants to put life into what is happening. And it's something that comes to him. But he doesn't intend to do it. And even I can tell you for free that Chief Emmanuel, although I didn't think that Senator Akpabio was referring to his wife as a club girl, I'm 100% sure of that.
That kind of situation,
yes.
When Senator Uwaboye and you now are saying that the real reason behind all of this rift is the removal of Senator.
But I said it already in Punch.
Just a moment.
Yeah.
Just that the real reason behind all of this is Senator Akpabio Dragon's removal as the chair of the Senate Committee on Local Content. What is this about this local content?
I wouldn't know, but she felt maybe, I don't know, the Senate President has every reason to move people from committees to committees, just like the way the President of the country can decide to drop a minister and appoint a new minister if he's not satisfied. She wasn't the only one that was removed, but maybe she felt that...
Why was she removed?
I don't know why she was removed, but the Senate President felt a need...
Is it true that...
The Senate President felt a need to rejig the committees, and she didn't feel good about it. But you see, what I think is this is not the right way to go about it. She could have nipped it in the bud if she had had an audience with the Senate President, or she have allowed her husband have audience with the Senate President, since he had an unfettered access to the Senate President. And that's why I'm not happy with the way the turn of events have come. Because the Brekete interview, the Arise interview, just compounded issues. Have you noticed that not even one senator spoke in her favor? That should worry you now.
Let me ask you quickly. With all that has happened, are you aware that there was some kind of investigation on the activities of the Senate Committee on Local Content?
I'm not aware of the investigation. All I know is that people petitioned.
There are petitions,
but there was no investigation.
There are some kind of spotlight already under.
Yes, but there was no investigation. So let me tell you one thing. I am not privy to what happens in executive sessions, and the Senate President wouldn't tell me everything. So maybe there are 13 things he would have come to his knowledge, which I don't know.
Leading to a removal as the chair.
I can't say that for sure.
So, but you are also not aware that a lot of things were said to have been allegations flying up.
Oh, I saw the allegations, but the Senate President didn't bring that to light, and no committee was set up to investigate her.
Could it have been better if she had been explained to the real reason why?
That's why she should have sought audience with the Senate President instead of going about it this way. And she would have been given that audience because she's a distinguished senator.
Is your boss aware of the possible repercussion of what happened today?
You see, it's not about my boss. It's about the Senate.
It's his presiding officer.
It's not about him being the presiding officer.
Let me just.
Did you hear what he was clearly told by the senator from Ondo State? He was told that this is beyond him. It's the Senate that was being protected. It's not. It has nothing to do with him. And even if you look at it, when he tried to, somebody actually called me and said, "Your boss rigged prayer too." Are you understanding that the nays actually had it and not the yeas? You could see that a couple of the senators might not have been happy that he said yea instead of nay. That should tell you that he still used his wisdom to give that opportunity for Senator Natasha Akpabio to write a letter of apology and will be considered because that prayer went through.
From the point of law, Ken,
yes,
you're aware that whatever that's happened between the allegations against the petition from Senator Akpabio against the Senate President, do you think from the point of law and the point of equity, justice and fairness that Senator Akpabio should be sitting as a presiding officer over a punishment and a judgment on Senator Akpabio?
Now, if the matters were not in court, for example, and the petition goes to the Ethics and Privileges Committee. Just like the report was presented today, I'm just, for want of time of the program, certainly Senator Godswill Akpabio would have to step aside for that report to be presented. He can't be a judge in his own case, and the Deputy Senate President would preside. But we have not gotten to that stage. So why do you now start insinuating that?
Okay, so now he is a judge in his own matter. Just for a moment. Just for a moment. The case that took the matter, and part of what Senator Akpoti Uduaghan has as grievance is against Senator Godswill.
That has been said.
Let me land on the question. I am asking you that don't you think that Senator Godswill Akpabio should have stepped down from presiding over the decision of
the Ethics and Privileges? No, he wouldn't have been able to step down because the decision has been taken. You can't change the report of a committee.
For the fact that his name was mentioned at all,
no, you can't
in
change,
the whole gamut of the debate.
Why you can't change the report of a committee? Because
I'm not saying change. I'm saying should he have been the presiding officer over a matter in which he
wasn't
involved.
the presiding officer today, the prayer 2 wouldn't have gone through.
No, but I mean, I'm saying that
prayer 2 went through because prayer 2 went through.
It's a fundamental.
No, prayer 2 went through.
The fairness.
No, but prayer 2 went through because he was the presiding officer.
The question here, Mr.
There was no conflict of interest there because the committee had set his report.
How would
and he gave all the senators, listen,
you're not listening to my question.
He gave all the senators an opportunity to speak.
Mr. Okolubu, you're not listening to me. If Senator Akpabio is a party in the grievance that Senator Akpoti Uduaghan is laying before the Senate, does it make sense?
But that wasn't the situation. That wasn't the decision.
You don't think morally that because his name is mentioned in the matter?
No, Shehu, you're getting it wrong. It was unruly. They charged her for unruly behavior because she was in fault of Senator Order 6-2 of the Senate proceedings. She didn't take her seat.
Should I play a tape for you? Just for a moment.
The fact that have you noticed that when she took her seat,
when
Order 10 she was allowed to take Order 10.
Just a moment. Do you know the reason why I'm saying to you that the Senate President should have or could have is because when Senator Akpoti Uduaghan was aggrieved when she was not going to be listened to, she started speaking directly and personally to the Senate President.
Because she was not sitting on the seat.
And I'm saying...
now that she's sitting on that seat,
the question I'm asking
she was allowed to speak.
The question I'm asking you is the fact that as soon as Senator Akpoti Uduaghan had started having an issue with Senator Akpabio...
No, they said she had the issue prior to him coming into the chambers.
That is all the same.
But did you even hear that the fact that today the chief whip reported that she was also in violation of Order 55-1, which says that everybody must rise when the presiding officer is coming in, that for 2 days she has refused to rise. She was in violation of that. The chief whip also reported that today. So what I'm saying here in the nutshell is that it has nothing to do with the presiding officer. It all has to do with
conduct. It does look like it does have...
It has to do with
the point of view of Senator Akpoti Uduaghan,
the chief whip?
From the point of view of Senator Akpoti Uduaghan, it does have all to do with Senator Akpabio.
That is it. And not even
and does look like a personal affair now.
That is exactly what it is.
How will your boss handle it?
Well, my boss has given her the window of opportunity to make amends. I would urge her to review today's proceeding, ask herself some very deep questions. Why did not Senator come to my favor, to my rescue? Why did Senator Ireti Kinjigbe also sign the reports on ethics and privileges? Why did she not come to my rescue? You know, at this material point in time, people will keep urging you on. But when you sit down and ask yourself, why should everybody be against me?
There is a very huge women community, and there are supporters in the men community also, who are aggrieved and angry about what has happened today, headed and led by Senator Godswill Akpabio. Is your principal really ready to get head on with these powerful forces?
Those are not privy to the rules of the Senate. I just gave you an example. The chairman of Women Affairs is Senator Ireti Kinjigbe, and she appended her signature to the 6-month suspension.
Does it make it right, whatever has happened today?
Natasha Odua, it makes it absolutely right. Every senator cannot be wrong. Did you hear what's in the wisdom of Senator Lawan, who was the predecessor to my boss, said? He only made a case for her security personnel not to be withdrawn. When the former majority leader, Senator Ojiuzo Kalu, spoke, he only made a case for her aides not to suffer the same fate as her.
And we understand that
Do you understand?
Our office was shut immediately.
When Senator Shomole also spoke,
is that true?
When Senator Shomole also spoke, he also made a case not for the sentence to be reduced, but the fact that she should explore prayer too. And also, Senator Fada Husi was very emphatical about it and felt that there was no need to reduce it. The only person that made a case for reduction was the Senate Minority Leader, Abba Moro. And so if I am here in his shoes, I will look at it and ask myself, can all these people be wrong? I believe she should take that window of opportunity, in my own view.
But what about that's unofficial unofficial side? It's
not even unofficial; it's official. They're giving her that
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because the things are broken down officially, and
if she takes that window, can put all these things to rest, and Kogi Central will be represented. She also realized that Kogi Central will not be represented for 6 months of legislative calendar.
Is it true also that our office was shut? We understand that as soon as
once you're suspended, your office is shut.
And she might be away if this is sustained for more than 6.
Yes, and that is why she should take the window of opportunity and not listen to those who are telling her to go and fight.
How will your boss be able to fix a broken down family relationship?
Oh, but you heard him today on the floor of the Senate. If he didn't think it was painful, his wife also alluded to it when she had her own press conference.
Are you worried that working with him, there is a broken down, a dented image of the Senate under Akpabio's leadership?
That is why it worries me, because I'm supposed to be his image maker, and which I am. And so this crisis was turning between my work.
Your principal, is he helping your matter?
He's helping my matter a lot, because he listens a lot. We don't have a master-servant relationship.
Senate has not been this badly represented or portrayed in the public.
But that is why you see that the senators. That's why you see that the senators. That's why you see the senators took a decisive action. And it wasn't about Senator Natasha.
It always be remembered that it's under Godswill Akpabio.
Nope. This is a Senate that has passed the Southeast Development Commission, the North Central Development Commission, the Southwest Development Commission, the students' loan, the credit scheme. There has been no Senate that has achieved what Senator Godswill Akpabio has achieved in 2 years.
We're not here for that.
If you want us to talk about that, we're not, trust me, you know, I will reel out all those facts.
But Ken, we're totally out of time.
Thank you so much for having me.
He's a consultant on communications and strategy to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.